After Dennis Smith Jr. tore his ACL in the summer of 2015, he was supposedly back to dunking within just 2 months after having his surgery. Smith Sr. told reporters that his son supposedly had an extra ligament within his knee that was part of why he was able to come back so quickly. So is this extra ligament fact, or is it just the stuff of NBA legend? Welcome back everyone to your #1 source for everything related to sports injuries and sports medicine news. In this video, we're going to take a look at the legendary story that Dennis Smith Jr. supposedly has an extra ligament within his knee. Now, as you know, Smith Jr. is one of the highest flyers in the game today with a vertical of 48 inches and some really impressive dunks. He came in the top 10 of my previous video looking at the most powerful jumpers in NBA history, and so he's got some serious hops. As always, make sure you're subscribed to my channel to stay up to date with breaking information regarding sports injuries and sports medicine news. And let's get started. Now, we're all traditionally taught that the knee has 4 primary ligaments that help provide its stability. Deep inside the knee, we have the ACL and the PCL, and then on the outside portions of the knee, we have the MCL and the LCL. An injury to any of these ligaments can be pretty devastating for a basketball player, but of course the ACL is the one that gets the most attention and certainly has a big impact on a player being able to do what they do on the court. The ACL has 2 primary purposes. The first one is to prevent the tibia from translating anterior or forward past the femur. And the second is to provide rotational stability to keep the tibia and femur from spinning upon one another too much. So what is this possible extra ligament within the knee, and is it believable that Smith Jr. has it? The ALL, or anterolateral ligament, is sometimes referred to as the 5th knee ligament, and what I'm guessing they're talking about in this situation. This ligament wasn't formally given that name until 2012, but there's been discussion about it in anatomy going back to the 1800s. In 1879, Dr. Paul Sagan described a specific avulsion fracture from the lateral portion of the tibia that he often saw with knee injuries. Today we call this a Sagan fracture, and when we see it on x-rays, it's highly indicative that somebody's had an ACL tear. Now, this ALL ligament lives right in this area, and now we understand that this Sagan fracture that he was originally describing is likely because of the ALL pulling a piece of bone away from the tibia, giving it this fracture with an injury. If we look here at the lateral portion of the knee, we can see the LCL, or lateral collateral ligament, that we of course know about. The ALL lies in close proximity to this LCL, and the reason it's been so elusive is that sometimes it's just sort of blended in with the fibers of the capsule or the IT band that also run in this area. It wasn't until 2012 and 2013 that we were able to really dissect out and define this ligament in a better way. The ALL is extremely important with an ACL injury because it functions in an additional way to what the ACL is already trying to do, sort of as a backup ligament, so to speak. If you think about the position of the ligament here, it's also going to help prevent the tibia from sliding anterior on the femur, and it's also going to prevent the tibia from internally rotating on the femur as well. So 2 functions that the ACL is trying to help prevent. The ALL is sort of a backup, also providing support in those directions. One of the challenges sometimes after an ACL repair is that people will still have some instability, particularly some of this rotational instability whenever they're trying to cut and pivot and do their sports activities. So what some doctors think is that it's actually a tear to the ALL that imparts some of that continued instability if it's not repaired with the ACL injury. Now, there's debate within the medical community about exactly how many people have a clearly well-defined ALL ligament versus just sort of being fibers within the capsule around the knee. There's also some discussion in the orthopedic surgery community about exactly when you should repair the ALL ligament based on the patient and based on the injury. But repairing this ALL has been thought to provide some possible additional stability within the knee on top of repairing the ACL tear. So what I suspect the doctors were referring to here and what Smith Sr. told reporters is that Dennis Smith Jr. probably had a more clearly defined ALL, and in his case, it was probably still intact whenever he injured his ACL. If the ALL, or 5th knee ligament, was not injured, then that would provide him some additional stability in the knee, which could help him come back to sport sooner and have more confidence in his knee with jumping. So I don't think this story is some big NBA myth. I think this certainly could be what is described as Dennis Smith Jr.'s extra ligament in his knee, and it's highly possible that you also have a well-defined ALL ligament, providing some additional support on top of the ACL. That's it for the video though, everybody. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you learned something here about the 5th knee ligament, the ALL. Let me know any questions or comments you have below, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.